Hey guys, it's me, Jacka, and this video is an overview of a load of abandoned game projects that I'm exporting and giving away ready to play. These games can be downloaded using the link in the description. Just a warning, all of these are abandoned projects, so there will be glitches or issues that probably pop up. First up on the list is the one and only P-Droid project. The P-Droid project has been on my channel for a fair while now, since 2014 I think it is, and it's now classed as an abandoned project. I've added in any extra weapons that I had not fully implemented and shoved the whole thing together. The game is basically a sandbox where you explore a planet, you can train units and get them to fight for you, or you can craft your own weapons and use them to fight. The controls are standard WASD and mouse, but you need to right click any buttons and right click to select units. Using the number keys 1 and 2 changes what camera you use, number 1 being the standard camera which follows the player, and number 2 being a remote camera controlled by holding the middle mouse button. You can also use numbers 3 and 4 to change what legs you have equipped. In the actual game I was going to have you upgrade body parts through use of buildings. At the moment there isn't that much to the game, I just shoved in what I had and hope to make just a little fun experience, a glimpse into what it might have been. This next game is called Hammer Jam. It's an idea revolving around using multiple inputs to do different moves in a fighting game. For an example, you would use back, upwards and forwards to swing the hammer over your head and slam it in front of you. The longer the combination, the more complex the move, so it's sort of like combos in fighting games. The player uses WASD to move and arrow keys for each input. There isn't much to this game, as it was just more of a test of concept, but there are a few animations to check out from different combinations. The project, I Just Want My Pasta, was a plan to make a little game consisting of WarioWare style minigames. The plot is that it's the apocalypse and you're a chef trying to make some pasta in a shelter. Being attacked by crazed pasta-loving sheep, your goal is to finish cooking the pasta whilst defending it from them. You've got to make sure the barricades aren't broken and that the temperature of the cooker is high so the pasta continues cooking. Use WASD to run around and left click to interact. Use the buttons by the barricades to scare sheep away and repeatedly click barricades to repair them. The game itself is a bit glitchy and has no failure or success state detection, and also be careful of walking diagonally into corners as the player can get stuck. Aside from those glitches, it's a fun little fast-paced game and I hope you get a bit of enjoyment out of it. Fighter Engine Test is just that, a test to see if I can make a fighter engine. It's a Smash Bros style, and the controls are arrow keys and X for an attack. Your type of attack is dependent on what direction key you're holding and if you're in the air or not. You can hold no keys, hold a side key, or hold the down key for different attacks. There's nothing really to this game aside from looking at the animations and hitting around the dummies. The animations could do with some work. It was just generally a test to see what I could do. Next up is Defender Red Warden. This was a project started over the summer and was going to be for the Super Hot competition. Sadly, university took priority, so I had to scrap it. I polished it up into an arena game and left it as it was. The whole premise of the game is obviously inspired by Super Hot's time mechanic. Time only moves when you block, throw your shield, or charge. The controls are WASD, hold right click to hold up your shield, and then use left click to throw or shift to charge forward. You have to hold up your shield to actually throw or charge. Most of my time was spent making the game feel good, so blocking doesn't function as intended, and there's only one enemy type, although it is still sort of fun and enjoyable to toy around with. A Dark Damp Dungeon is a game inspired by Binding of Isaac. It's currently on Steam, just in the Steam workshops of Game Maker, but I thought I would put it here. It's a little game that's sort of interesting to play around for a bit. The main focus of the game is based around you going through a dungeon, finding chests that change your stats based on RNG. Obviously, you can tell what the problem is from it being based on RNG. A few people found it infuriating, so I just sort of scrapped the idea. When you start the game, you've got to spend your skill points by upgrading your stats in the top left. Click the pluses to increase each stat, and I'd recommend getting at least 5 agility and a couple of attack. The game has 3 different types of chests and 3 different types of enemy and procedurally generated dungeons, so it can be fun for a little while, trying to see how far you can go, but there isn't much content. Generally, the game's annoying to handle at first, and there's a collision glitch when walking into a wall diagonally, similar to my pasta project. Other than that, the stats can be pretty broken, but that's about it. Last but definitely not least is 5 Days Before. This is the game that I recorded the development of and made in a weekend. It's heavily inspired by the Settlers 4 with the whole place a building and the people who work for you system, but it's a lot more simplified and more focused around defense. During the night, zombies spawn at the edge of the map and attack your villages and buildings. You have to defend them using knights. To start, click your crystal, make a builder, and then find a rock patch. Build a house by it and turn that into a mine. Do the same nearby trees, but make it a sawmill. After you've done this, start gathering resources, making units, and building up an army. Make sure your army is spread around the settlement to protect all angles. Glitches wise, the game has a couple of game breaking ones. Having a house destroyed whilst your supply is above the limit prevents you from making a new house, which is really bad, so defend your buildings well, I guess. There is also the design issue of running out of resources if you don't make the resource gatherers first. Aside from that, there aren't any other glitches from what I can tell. So that was an overview of my game bundle. I hope I didn't ramble too much, I just wanted to get all the details down. You can download it free in the description. Just bear in mind, obviously, there will be some glitchy games. I hope you enjoy watching and hopefully enjoy toying around with my projects. If you actually did enjoy watching, just I guess leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. Any feedback is feedback nonetheless. Thanks and ta-ra!